Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. In a probation revocation trial Thursday in 8th Judicial District Court, David Carl Harvey, age 41, of Sulphur Springs, was sentenced to 75 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Harvey, who has a lengthy arrest record dating back to January 2000, was charged twice in January of this year for manufactured delivery of a controlled substance penalty group 1, more than 1 gram but less than 4 grams. One of the charges included in a drug-free zone. In August of this year, Special Crimes Unit activated an arrest team that included deputies, patrol officers, and criminal investigators from the Hopkins County Sheriff's Office and the Sulphur Springs Police Department. The team successfully arrested Harvey at his residence on Georgia Street. The arrest team was activated due to information about weapons at the residence and the possibility of Harvey fleeing. Harvey was aware of the felony warrant issued for his arrest. He did attempt to flee when officers arrived and some had entered the residence. However, he did stop at the entry door of the house when it became apparent other officers were present outside the residence. Howard Greg Diamond, age 57, of Sherman, was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison and forfeited his DEA registration number following his plea of guilty in the Eastern District of Texas Court. He had faced life in prison. Diamond was arrested last year on charges related to prescriptions of opioids, including fentanyl, hydrocodone, and morphine, that were named as the cause in 7 deaths in Oklahoma, at Sulphur Springs, McKinney, and Abilene. He was indicted July 6, 2017, and charged with conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, possession with intent to distribute controlled substances, health care fraud, and aiding and abetting, as well as money laundering. The investigation of the case was conducted by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Health and Human Services, Internal Revenue Service, and the Texas Office of the Attorney General. Diamond admitted to being responsible for only 1 patient overdose. The indictment stated that all 7 victims died within 1 month of filling their prescriptions. Diamond was ranked 12th in the nation and 1st in Texas in total prescriptions written in 2014. Robert Royce Haga, age 54, of Huntsville, Alabama, was a passenger in a vehicle stopped for a traffic violation. The Hopkins County Chief Investigator Corley Weatherford, who was on patrol Wednesday afternoon, observed an open container in plain view in the vehicle. Haga admitted it was his. The driver of the vehicle admitted to having marijuana under his seat in the auto. A search of the vehicle revealed a syringe loaded with a clear substance believed to be methamphetamine in Haga's luggage. Haga admitted to possessing the meth. Haga is in Hopkins County Jail, charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, more than 1 gram, but less than 4 grams. He's held on a $10,000 bond. The driver of the vehicle was charged with a misdemeanor possession of marijuana under 2 ounces. He also is in Hopkins County Jail. Saturday afternoon, District 2 State Senator Bob Hall will be in Sulphur Springs. He will be at Celebration Plaza between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Hall called by some the most conservative senator in Austin, will meet with constituents. Hall, a Republican and incumbent seeking re-election, will have yard signs available, as well as lemonade and cookies being served. Local Republicans invite the public to attend and meet Senator Hall.
The month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Safety Crisis Center in Sulphur Springs is hosting a candlelight vigil downtown Sulphur Springs on Tuesday, October 16th. Reagan Dennis, who works at Safety Crisis Center, will tell us more.
Safety is an organization who helps victims of domestic violence and sexual assault here in Sulphur Springs. We also have offices in Mount Pleasant and Paris, and we serve 8 counties. We've been open for 23 years. Here in Sulphur Springs, we've been open for 11 years, and we are actually getting ready to have a candlelight vigil on the 16th of October, which is Tuesday of next week, and it'll be at 6:30. and we will be honoring those who have lost their life to domestic violence and those who have silent voices, who haven't had the courage to come and step forward and speak out yet.
Okay.
And we still have a lot of people that haven't had that courage yet.
Okay. Safe Tea, I suppose its name indicates that it is a safe place where you can come to ask for help.
Yes, anytime you come and speak with us or call us on the phone, anything that you say to us is not going to be spoken about with anybody else unless you give us permission. You would have to sign a release of information for us to talk about anything that you say with another person. That includes law enforcement, unless we think that you're abusing someone else or somebody's life is in danger or something like that.
Okay. Safe Tea is located in Sulphur Springs in the same offices as Can Help.
Yes, we are at 613 Gilmer Street, right across from where Little Caesars and Family Video are.
Okay.
And we face Gilmer Street, and we get confused as Can Help quite often,
Okay.
but we just tell them to go around the corner to Can Help.
There's a lot of interesting and useful offices right in there, and hopefully you will discover these help agencies. Right now we're talking about Safe Tea, and because the month of October is called what?
It's Domestic Violence Awareness
Okay.
Month, and there's quite a few different awarenesses going on in the month of October, but for us, we are celebrating Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and that's nationally. And back on October 1st, Judge Newsom and the Commissioner's Court proclaimed it Domestic Violence Awareness Month here in Hopkins County. And so we are combining that with the candlelight vigil, and so we invite everybody that wants to attend to come down. We're going to have some guest speakers.
This will be on Celebration Plaza.
Yeah, it will be. And weather permitting, if it does happen to rain, we will hold it at the Rock.
Okay.
And we are going to have our county attorney, Dusty Hyde-Raby, speak, and she helps us a lot with our protective orders and working with law enforcement, and she's really great, and she's going to speak about kind of working with victims and what it takes to keep them safe, and working with people who haven't had the courage to, come forward and speak out, and how technology, it's hard to stay ahead of the curve sometimes because people are using all kinds of crazy stuff to abuse people nowadays. And then we're going to have a survivor speaker, and her name is Gayla Lawrence, and she's actually one of our volunteers, and she's an on-call advocate when we have to go out for sexual assault or domestic violence calls to the hospital or law enforcement. And she is a really great lady, and she has a very cool story to tell. She is one of the only people to actually sue her abuser and win. And so I think people will be inspired by her story. And so we're going to do a candlelight vigil at the end where we're going to light candles and honor these people. And we only have one person, thankfully, in the last 10 years that has lost their life to domestic violence in Hopkins County. And we will be honoring her in particular. And we will be having a moment of silence, and then we're also going to have information available on Safe Tea there for people that might want to take some information home.
Okay. Those are all good things. And if you'd like to come to that candlelight vigil, anyone can come.
Yes.
It will be at 6:30, Tuesday, October 16th on Celebration Plaza. And, of course, the rain location would be the Rock. And I want to ask some more things about, especially this month, October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
How do people come to you? How do people reach out? Do they come in kind of meekly, wondering if this is a safe place that they can come and or are they going to be followed, or
we do have people that are concerned about whether or not they're going to be followed there, or if people, a lot of people still don't know that we're here. And a lot of times people do think we are Can Help, so that kind of works to our benefit. And the fact that we do keep it confidential. They have a lot of people that will have a friend bring them there, or they get referred. They do go to Can Help, and Can Help will just send them next door to us. And so they walk there, so it's not as noticeable that their car is there. I think that is helpful. But we always encourage people to turn off like the location settings on their phones and things like that, so that they're not being tracked as much. Because people have all kinds of ways to be tracking where you're going, and especially if they want to find you, they will go to great lengths to find you. And so we encourage people to try to, even if they're going to be going back to the home that they share with this person afterwards, because they are not in a position to exit the home right that minute, we give them a safety plan, and it has information on how to keep safe and prepare to leave. And so it has information on, like, get all of your important documents, like your birth certificates, your social security cards, all those things, and put them in a safe place that's maybe like in your car or at your neighbor's house or something like that. Have a code with your children. Like if I say this specific word, that means go next door to the neighbor's house and call 911. Or have a code with your neighbors. If I flash the light 2 times, that means call 911, because we're having a bad fight and I might not be alive or something.
Those are practical measures that I think that's very kind of you your company to have created this safety checklist or whatever that helps that puts them in the right puts them less of a victim and more in a working mode.
Yeah, and they can read these things to like put them in their mind, because when you're if you don't read these and think about them ahead of time, when you're in a volatile state, you aren't going to be thinking about that. So you're not knowing, like, what am I going to do? You'll already have this in motion. You'll already have these things prepared. It tells you to kind of have a bag packed and have it stashed somewhere. And so we try to encourage them to be prepared to leave on a moment's notice. And so if they can plan ahead, it's the best thing for them.
I think some people who are in situations that Safety Crisis Center would like to help them or gets asked to help, they may not be able to make their break the first time they make up their mind to or try to. It's maybe a process, but finally when a person can break free.
Yes. Statistics show that a woman will leave or they'll go back to their abuser like 8 times before they will leave for good. And so, that's a number, that's a pretty high number. And it's very hard to break that bond, especially if you have children with this person and you're trying to work it out or do what you think is best for your children. And so you have to try to do as much as you can to stay safe, but at the same time, not put yourself in any more danger.
The figure you gave before, only 1 death in Hopkins County due to domestic violence in the last period of time. Mm-hmm. But nationally, as much education as is out there and awareness, it still happens.
It does. We have approximately like 1/3 of all women in the United States experience domestic violence. I mean, that's a pretty high number. That's about 42 million women in the country. That doesn't mean they're all going to die, but that's still a pretty high number. And of course men do experience it as well, but it's because we grow up seeing it. It's a generational reoccurring thing, and so that's why we do prevention education, and we go out into schools and try to teach them that from an early age, that these behaviors are not normal, and try to teach them how to have conflict resolution at an early age in a way that you know, just because you're mad, you don't hit or you don't yell or any of those kinds of things, that you talk about these things in a normal manner, and so that we can maybe break this cycle. A lot of people are, of course, we have a huge drug issue in this country as well, both prescription and illegal, and that plays a huge part in domestic violence. A lot of our clients, and I know nationally, drugs plays a big part in in domestic violence, because people are using, both partners are using. The woman is using to cope with the fact that she is a victim, and the man is using just to use, I guess. But and it's just a never-ending cycle of violence.
Safety Crisis Center sees a lot of different cases.
Yes.
And in fact, our local office in Sulphur Springs, as mentioned, near can help there, but there's another office, or a head office.
That's in Mount Pleasant, okay. And we also have a shelter that's at an undisclosed location in Mount Pleasant, and our Mount Pleasant office, they opened in 1995, and they see more clients there than we do here in Sulphur Springs, but and of course we can send people from here to our shelter in Mount Pleasant, and people from Paris can go to our shelter in Mount Pleasant as well. And we have a thrift store in Mount Pleasant, and I think they are contemplating perhaps maybe one day opening a thrift store here in Sulphur Springs too, just because it's hard for us to provide things to our clients from our thrift store that are here. So it would be good.
The candlelight vigil, and I wanted to ask more about your other duties reaching out to schools, but we're so close to being out of time. There's a whole lot involved in the job that you do, Reagan.
Yes.
And thank you very much for the help that you offer.
Thank you.
As you go through your learning process and helping people. I know you have the heart to help, or you would not have entered this kind of work. The Candlelight Vigil is only a few days away.
It is, and we invite everybody to attend. I think it's going to be a great event, and we're looking forward to honoring these people, and we hope that everybody will come out and join us.
Well, this is our 2018 4-H project show, and we do this every year. And this is a time to give our 4-Hers the opportunity just to exhibit their photography, their art, anything that's kind of outside the normal 4-H projects. And so we do this during National 4-H Week. It's on display to the public until Friday. So we hope that we'll get some visitors in here. And we just really enjoy seeing all the creativity of our 4-H kiddos. And a lot of these projects you will see in the Creative Arts Contest for Fall Festival, because a lot of them have said that they would like to enter them in that contest. So you'll be seeing a repeat of some of these, and we hope to have a lot more entries from our Hopkins County people in the Fall Festival Creative Arts Contest. And that's coming up the end of October, and if you want information, you can contact me here at the Extension office.
Well, one display we're not going to see is the first place baking
The
goods.
baked goods. Yes, actually the baked goods, it won Best of Show, and the judges looked at it and we all kind of tasted it, and so it is no longer there for display. It was very, very good. So that's the only entry that's not actually in place. But everything else is still here, and we hope that, you know, there's just a few more hours left to watch these, to look at these on display here at the Extension office. So we hope that people will come on by. We're going to be open all day tomorrow, which is Friday, October 12th, and we're here from 8 to 5, and we'd love for people to come in and look at the items up close and personal. Yeah, one more thing I want to talk about is our National 4-H Paper Clover campaign that takes place at Tractor Supply, and it's going on right now through, oh, I wish I remembered the ending date, but it's for another week. But it's at our local Tractor Supply, and people can go in there, give an extra $1 at checkout, and the proceeds come back to our local Hopkins County 4-H program. And we use that money to help pay for camp, for leadership trainings for our kids, and registration. So we always encourage our individuals and community to go out and help support our 4-H through the Tractor Supply Paper Clover campaign. And also, I just have to brag a little bit on our 4-H kiddos. We have what's called One Day 4-H, and that is a community service project that they do statewide. Well, our Hopkins County 4-H program got together Monday night during one of our 4-H club meetings and made what we're calling Hope Totes. And what they are, they're little bags made from a washcloth, and then we filled them with personal care items and snacks. And the kids actually did the sewing to make the bags. We had an assembly line, and we had some kids that were sewing, some of them that were stuffing, and some of them that were tying the tops. And we completed 35 of those bags and delivered them to 3 fire departments and the police department. And those are to be used in the case of an emergency situation, where maybe there's a case of abuse, or maybe a fire, maybe somebody stranded on the interstate, just somebody going through an emergency situation. And those little bags can be given to those individuals just so they have some basic care items as well as some snacks. And so we're very proud of our 4-H kiddos for completing that project. And that's all part of our National 4-H Week.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Miller Grove Hornets and the Lady Hornets both won the district championship in cross country in District 23A. In an incredible showing, the Hornets took the top 6 spots to capture the championship. Isaiah Billingsley won the race with a time of 15:43.08. Kobe Robertson was second. Matthew Brignan was third. Lance Verner Davis was fourth. Tanner Hensley was fifth, and Lexton Sly was sixth. The Lady Hornets were led by Cassidy Shaney, who finished second in the race. Jolie Fox was third. Georgia Bessonette was fourth. Lauren Bullard was fifth. Alexa Pelleros was seventh. Lainey Burnett was eighth, and Harley Watson was 11th. The Yantis Lady Owls finished second in district. Maddie Hooker of the Lady Owls actually won the race. Also for Yantis, Maggie Hooker was 6th, Yesenia Macias was 14th, Victoria Macias was 20th, Brooke Barrett was 27th, and Lisbeth Camacho was 30th.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.